like the Moroccans say, aql walu. No aql. So that's really important to know that. And he was very committed to intelligence. And hamaqa is a real problem. In fact, Marx, I don't like to quote him, but Marx considered stupidity to be one of the most important factors in human affairs. That stupidity has done more in human history to have an impact on us. I think he rated it number 4 in terms of actual world affairs. I mean, look at all our stupid rulers. Look how stupid these people are. Like, war is such a stupid thing. War it's literally it's like surgery. It's the very last thing that you do. They don't exhaust all the possibilities. They want to go to war because they're idiots. They think they're going to make money. You know, they're going to greet you with flowers in Iraq. Yeah, right. People don't like to be bombed. They don't like it. You know, they don't like to have their toes stepped on. You know, people get angry if you bump into them. And woe unto you in America if you might, by accident, run them off the road. God help you. Huh? I mean, like, you know, gun control. I don't mind having guns if you have civilized people. You know, but when people aren't very educated or they're rednecks and they hate people, they're just haters because you're off-white. You know, God. And most of them, seriously, if they go back and find their roots and things like that, they were spat on at one time, you know. The Irish are as white as the moon. Look how the British, 800 years of Anglo-Saxon persecution. The Welsh, as white as the moon. Irish slavery, just read the history about Irish slavery. They had slaves. They took Irish as slaves. The Ottomans sent all this wheat during the potato famine, right, where all these millions of Irish were starving. The Ottomans, Sultan Abdul Majid, sent wheat and to help the Irish because they heard about it. So he sent ships. The Anglo-Saxon, the British government wouldn't allow the wheat through because they didn't want to make the English government look bad because the Turks were helping and they weren't. They let the Irish die. I mean, all you have to do is read, if you want a good Anglo-Irish take on the English attitude towards the Irish, read Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, right? It's a great essay. And, you know, it's tongue-in-cheek, but he was basically articulating the sentiment of those people. Let's just bake their kids, bake them, you know, make them into food, right? So that's what happened. I mean, that's, you know, my ancestors fled Catholic persecution in Scotland, and they fled English persecution in Ireland to America. And the Irish, and then they got to America. My great grandfather got to Philadelphia, and he met the Irish riots. They went and burnt down all their churches and the Protestants because they're from Anglo-Saxon. So the Irish, there's a book you can read, When the Irish Became White, which is about how the Irish got integrated into American society. Because first they were treated like African Americans or Native Americans. That's why so many blacks have Irish blood. Imam Zayd's half Irish, right? Because Irish couldn't marry Anglo-Saxon women in America, right? So there's sick people, just racist people that have these diseases. Racism is a sickness, you know? And it's more tribalism, because the color is not so much the issue. Trust me, Turks are Turks, and many Turks are as white as the Lai. Lai? Did I say that right? No, I. How do you say moon? I? Yeah. How do you say white? White. Beyaz? Beyaz. Yeah, the Beyab. The Arabs must have got it from Turkish. Beyaz I. Huh? Turks are white as the moon, but they're still Turks as far as Europeans are concerned. They're Asiatics. So it's not about color. We have to get out of this whole color thing. This is about tribe and socioeconomics. It's about money, and it's about this idea of blood purity, which is a disease. Some of the Arabs have that disease. Wallahi, it's a disease in our community. Some South Asians have that disease. They think that, Baluchis are below them, right? They think that Pathans are below them, right? And then you go to India and you'll find that you've got people from different parts of India. I mean, they look down on people from Kerala. Kerala, sweetest people in India. Really. Malayalam. They speak Malayalam. Arabs say Mala yu'lam. Kerala, nice people. Wallahi, I lived in the Emirates. All the Kerala people that were there, a lot of people from Kerala, they were the sweetest people. I was amazed at the Kerala people. They're just really humble people. I find Bengalis very humble people. Wallahi, people from Bangladesh, they're very humble people. 500 years ago, Bangladesh had one of the highest per capita incomes in the world. It was one of the most civilized countries on the planet. The Wheel of Fortune. Bangladesh. Dhaka was considered, when the first British explorers got there in the 16th century, they could not believe how advanced Dhaka was. They couldn't believe it. You know, they had a great tradition, highly civilized people. So, you know, you look at people, they've fallen on hard times, you have to have compassion for them. Africans, the same. You look at African Americans, the fact they're still standing after 500 years is a miracle when you look at the history of what they went through. If you study Mexican history, you will weep tears of blood. Tears of blood. I'm telling you. If you read Mexican history and you look at how the Spanish treated them, they had 10 racial classifications in Mexico. 10 racial classifications. Unbelievable. Rape was a standard practice of the conquistadores. It was a standard practice. So you got the mestizos that were mixed Spanish and Indian blood. If you study Native American history, you will weep tears of blood. If you study Jewish history, you'll weep tears of blood. They used to strip them naked and make them run through the villages in Europe and spit on them and throw stones at them. Utter humiliation and degradation. And then look at what these Nazis did with them. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's been so much human suffering on this planet. And we have to have more compassion for each other. You know, really, everybody suffered. Everybody has suffered on this planet, except the English. But everybody else has suffered. Really, you study the history and you will see people have suffered immensely. You know, everybody has suffered. So we have to have more compassion for people. Really, that's what our religion is about. It's about teaching us. Ta'awunu 'ala al-birri wa taqwa. That was revealed about the mushrikeen. It wasn't about Muslims working together. It was about working with good. The world is divided between people that are mostly good but have some bad and people that are mostly bad that have some good. That's the classification. And then the next classification, the Abrahamic peoples and the other peoples. That's a classification because the Semitic truths are the closest, right? These ancient Aryan mythologies and the Asiatic traditions, I believe they're revealed traditions. They definitely have truth in them. There are clear indications that many of these traditions were revelations from God. They have different ways of looking at God and the world and everything, but they have truth in them. Confucius, if you study the Analects of Confucius, it sounds just like hadith. Wallahi, you read the Analects and you'll think, are these hadith? It sounds just like hadith. Because he was a great teacher. I don't know if he was a prophet. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But he was definitely in the tradition of the prophets. Teaching people how to be human. Teaching them how to treat each other. Teaching them how to have filial piety. How to take care of their parents. How to honor those who had benefited society. خَيْرُكُمْ أَنْفَعُكُمْ لِعِيَالِ اللَّهِ. The best of you are those who help Allah's dependents the most. Those are the best of us. So all of this madness that we're in today, we have to go back to using our intelligence again. Really, we have so much stupidity in the world. A lot of stupidity. People just behaving with utter stupidity. And so the very last section that he mentions here